Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something new and exciting. What is CBD? And also, what are the other cannabinoids that we always hear about once we go down this path? When we start talking about CBD, it can get kind of confusing. So let's get into it. So for today, the main focus is what is CBD. But also, I do want to talk about what other cannabinoids there are outside of tetrahydrochlorides or THC. There's other types of cannabinoids within the plant, and they all are the CBD ones, or CBG, CBC, CBN, CBL, etc. CBD is the one that got the most fame because we know the most about it. From a scientific level, CBD has been not studied like pharmaceuticals, but it has a lot more medical knowledge since we kind of been dealing with it from the hemp side of things. And really, it wasn't the biggest factor when we went to legalization for marijuana or weed or Delta 9 cannabis. It didn't have to go through a lot of hoops and ladders. So kind of got lost in the sauce. Nobody really explained exactly what CBD is or why it's important, and also why you get the better CBD from dispensaries and all these other things. So the main thing about CBD is the properties of CBD and where it binds to. We talked about before, but you have receptors in your body. You have CB1 and CB2 receptors. Cannabinoids, for the most part, bind to your CB2 receptors. That being said, CB2 receptors are responsible for inflammation, they're in your joints, there's all these other areas throughout your body, and CBD kind of binds those areas. So that is why CBD is used for pain relief, swelling. People talk about it for topical uses, is because it binds to the receptors that are in those areas that control the properties that are making you feel not too well or swollen, etc. The other thing about CBD that is really unique is CBD can have more properties than just medical healing. I've even had studies showing that if you take high uses of CBD, it can also help with, weight gain or weight loss. So if you're somebody who wants to lose weight, I've seen CBD have some really good properties in that. There's also some other cannabinoids that help really well with that, but CBD has shown that it does help curb hunger and some other things as well, mainly because of the calming and relaxation properties that it produces. And when it binds to those receptors of your CB2, if you think back to that video, alcoholism is one of the things that rely on CB2 receptors and the curving ability of it, similar to eating. And that's another reason why people take high concentrated levels of CBD to curb binge eating or to curb other things like that because it binds to the receptors that are responsible for signaling to your brain saying, hey, I want this or I'm craving this. It's coming from your gut. And that's why a lot of CBD actually helps this and other cannabinoids too. That being said, CBD has a lot of forms. It has tincture form, has flower form. We've seen concentrated form when it comes into dabs or other forms within dispensaries. And the reason why you see a lot of people grab CBD from dispensaries is because it has THC. We talked about it before that you kind of need both that really get the most benefit. So you could have a really high CBD and it just needs a little bit of THC to kind of enact the full capabilities what CBD can do. You won't really feel psychoactive or anything like that, but getting it from a dispensary, you still get the little bit that really kind of makes it a full spectrum effect rather than kind of like, oh, I'm taking this, but I'm not really feeling any different. The THC will at least help a little bit push that CBD into like kind of, doing what it's supposed to do and giving you the effects that you want. But that's pretty much what CBD is. Pretty simple. It's just a simple cannabinoid that is used for inflammation and other things like that. But that being said, I do want to quickly touch base on the other cannabinoids because it is not just CBD. And a lot of times that's kind of the only one you talk about. CBD, while it is really beneficial for all the medical things, it also helps with anxiety, but it's not the main CBD or cannabinoid or however you want to phrase it for the one that actually takes anxiety away. There's another cannabinoid called CBG, and that one is also used for inflammation of glaucoma, gastro, etc. It's easy to remember with the G, but it also is probably the biggest cannabinoid for your mood and stuff like that. So CBG is really beneficial for those that want to get out of seasonal depression, other things like that. CBG is really good for that, as well as anybody with chronic stomach issues or just chronic inflammation of the face. CBG does help a lot as well too. There's also another one called CBC. CBC is centralized really easy for cancer or colon health. Think about the C, where those metabolize and where CBC is really beneficial is around those areas. It has really good anti-cancer probabilities, antioxidant, etc. Versus, CBD is more anti-swelling and stuff like that. CBC has more of these anti-cancer-like effects. While all of them do have these anti-cancer and antioxidant, all the other things too, each one is specialized to show a little bit better in studies, in recent studies at least, to help with certain things better. And what I mean by that is another one called CBN. CBN is the only cannabinoid that actually does have psychoactive properties. You could take all the CBG, all the CBD you want, even all the CBC you want, and you wouldn't really feel a ton of psychoactivity. CBN you do, because it's the only cannabinoid that actually comes from deteriorated THC. When you leave THC in the sun for a long time, it can deteriorate, and that turns into CB N. It also can turn into CBN if you leave it out for a really long time. So if you leave marijuana out for a really long time, it can turn to CBN. Sunlight just kind of makes that process happen a lot sooner. So really, those are kind of the cannabinoids. We also have CBL, but I don't like to talk about CBL a lot yet because it hasn't had really any beneficial studies. I mean, it has shown anti-seizure-like capabilities, those for epilepsies, etc., but it's not enough to really have it in a high quantity to show true beneficial. If I was going for epilepsy or something like that, I actually would recommend CBG with CBD because I think the CBD aspect does help a lot, as well as the CBG, and then the highest form of THC because you really got to rush those cannabinoids to calm down epilepsy quickly. But I'm not a doctor, so I don't want to go down that path. I just wanted to give some insight. And if you guys have any other questions about medical stuff when it comes to cannabinoids, always feel free to comment, like, or subscribe. I really want to continue doing videos that really help people, but also show that there's more ways to heal yourself than just one. And for athletes, a lot of us have been looking at different ways to do things. So really look at CBD as a new mechanism to relieve some pain, some swelling without taking ibuprofen, etc. But that, I close this video, and I hope you have a great day. Enjoy your week, and I'll talk soon. Bye.